I suppose it was confetti.
I've heard that glitter is like the herpes of art supplies. You think you get rid of it, but you never do.
Afton was the first one to bring out the glitter. God, that was years ago. That shit never goes away.
Yep.
We're still finding it.
I'm sure you are. Did we have that happen at your old house in Madison? Like they were doing some stupid thing with an art project and there was just glitter everywhere.
I don't remember, but you have better memory than I do. So.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of glitter in my life, so the only time that it is involved in anything I do is when somebody sends it to me in some sort of joke letter or box.
Yeah. You don't go buy glitter weekly?
No.
I feel like that would be on your grocery list.
There's not a lot of arts and crafts in the Poquet house.
Okay.
Really?
Not really.
Unless it's outside. Outside?
Outside, sure.
Some woodworking?
Mark, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you?
That blue looks great on you.
Thanks, Todd.
It compliments your eyes.
Oh, I was just going to say that same thing.
Yeah.
It really brings out just pop.
Hey, good
Doesn't
morning.
it?
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
We're rolling.
Okay, so we're going to jump in. Here's rules of engagement. I actually had him set you guys up so we were live and rolling before I walked in because I didn't want to, like, a lot of times people will roll in and there's small talk ahead of when we start recording, and then we miss stuff.
Okay.
So this was intentionally staged this way.
Okay.
We will capture everything.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So all guests on the Made Up podcast have to be in person.
Okay.
We don't do anything virtual. So that's why you're here.
Okay.
We don't edit anything. So be comfortable with whatever you're about to say. Because it will live on the internet forever.
Okay. Okay. And as a employee in education, I should make sure I need to keep myself to a certain.
Keep yourself checked, my
Okay.
friend.
Okay.
Did I miss anything? Those are the two main rules, right?
Who do we have here?
Well, we'll get to that. We're going through the rules.
Yeah, the rules are
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't miss any.
You did well.
All right. So Brenton and Caitlin, welcome.
Yeah, we're happy to be here.
We had John because what'd you do yesterday?
We did the CRUSHER 40 beers route.
The beers are out.
Yes.
Yeah.
First 9 of you, right?
Yeah.
9, yeah.
Yep.
First 9 people to hit the 2025 EX courses.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
We
was-
left it very muddy for everybody else.
So she's still wet.
Yeah, very wet.
Yes. There's if you are careful and watch the people ahead of you, you can avoid most of it.
Yeah.
No.
Because you just listen for the screams and the squeals.
That's a lie. That's a first lie of the podcast has been told.
So, I mean, to be honest with you, I was pretty dry throughout because I was trying to watch the people ahead of me make the mistakes. So,
Speaking of mistakes, I saw pictures of Larry Edder bleeding.
yes,
How is he?
he's good. Where did you go yesterday after we're done?
He went, I think, to ER to just make sure it was all cleaned out because the mud puddle was, not sanitary. So he got
Little bacteria in there.
He got his wounds cleaned.
Oh, so he went down in a puddle?
It was
mud?
It was a downhill, muddy-ish, some slick rocks. He was trying to avoid some rocks. And decided
Sometimes
to
it's
take a
better to
slip.
hit the puddle.
Yeah.
Is what we have
Yeah.
found.
And he did not, just so people know, he did not go to the ER. He just went to the urgent care.
No
Yeah.
stitches.
So it was
No
just
stitches.
getting cleaned up, so no infection, that kind of thing. He was joking that
we took away his walker.
we took away his walker, and that's what happened.
He sent me a message to that effect. This is what happens when you take away the old guy's walker.
Yes. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
It was good, and it was one of those things where he was third from the back, and all of a sudden you just hear whoop, and it was Kaylee who was with us. She's like, "Hey, stop!" And so he was fine, but he was bleeding good. So
It was
Crush-
right before the airplane crash, so he crashed by the crash.
I mean, literally 200 feet before
Seriously?
we got the airplane crash. Yes.
It seemed like it was pretty early in the ride.
Yes.
yes, it was
Yep.
quite early. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have his number?
Yeah.
Hang on.
I don't have my phone on me.
Yeah, hang on here. We're going to see if we can cue this. This fucking guy. I got to connect.
Just so everyone knows, Caitlin is our organization person. She is the glue that puts these things together when it comes to getting podcasts and all the kind of fun stuff. So,
Well, let's see. Well, we'll find out right now if you're still on speaking terms.
Well, I hope so. Because, we're headed up to Copper Harbor, and he's supposed to hang out with us up there, too. So,
Is he?
yep.
Moment of truth.
He's going to think it's a spam call?
Probably. I think it comes up as 906 Adventure Team now.
Oh.
Well, in my phone, it comes up differently, but
I've seen some creative names assigned to my number on people's phones.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning. How are you?
Larry Eder, how are you doing?
Good. I now have it on speaker.
Good. You're being recorded live with Brenton and Caitlin right now on Made Up.
hi, Larry. Good morning.
Good morning, Larry. Just watch what you say. We've already been told.
Nothing gets edited, Larry, so it lives forever online.
I understand that one. So, as it should be.
Word on the street is you went to urgent care.
Yeah. I was having fun coming down towards the aircraft accident check site. And it's a little bit downhill, a little bit of speed. There was a bunch of puddles, and the old man started slaloming through it and missed one.
I'm
Went down
assuming
hard.
you're referring to yourself as the old man.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, I just want to be clear.
Yes.
I was also saying that I probably, the kids take away my walker and I fall down. So that's the other part.
So the bleeding has stopped?
It wasn't all that bad.
Yeah.
The problem is being on the road like this, I didn't have all the stuff, didn't know what, trying to track it down. So
Sure.
I just went in because, you go down in that mucky stuff, and I didn't need to have a infection going on later. So the nurse, her boyfriend is a triathlete, professional triathlete, and she's busted her wrist. So she got in there nice and good. And then the nurse was also into mountain biking a little bit. So they just sort of chuckled at me.
And Larry was he was helping the wildlife the whole day because those open wounds, it was like free smorgasbord.
The flies didn't have to bite.
Nope, they were just licking it up. Yep.
Licking it up.
Yep.
Cleaning his wound for him.
Larry, here's a question I have for you. On the FU scale, 1 FU up to 10 FUs, what would you rate the course yesterday?
You're going to put me on the spot here.
Yes, I am. That's what we do.
I'd probably give it about a 7.5.
7.5 FUs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think the one that I got to chuckling the most is that, you guys always say that the crusher routes aren't marked. And yes, yesterday there is a section that is marked.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're not supposed to give away the secrets.
I mean, don't worry. We still got lost. Don't get us wrong.
Oh, it's
Still got
Yes, we missed the markings.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah. We flew right down that hill.
Hey, what was the story with Kaylee and Nicole deciding to grab some extra miles?
See, they just wanted extra miles.
Yeah, they had to outdo us. But what it really came down to is they were having so much fun going downhill. And I think we were working on names for that downhill where they missed the turn.
Yep.
And I think we went with Woo Girl Descent. So
Nicole was smiling too hard to hear me trying to call.
So they were ahead of us, even though supposedly Nicole was taking it easy.
Oh, yeah. Those are famous last words.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they got ahead of us on a trail of no return. And we were smart enough that Caitlin and Glenn had stopped at that turn.
I called Glenn back because he almost did the same thing. He's like, "There's nothing there. There's nothing there."
It's hard not to just keep bombing, right? So, so they were waiting there, and Larry went ahead right at first and was going down the crappy grass and whatever tick infested area. But he's like, oh yeah, no, there's wheel tracks ahead of us. And then as we got further and further, and then all of a sudden, like I was out
We're
in the
like,
lead.
wait, no, there aren't.
And I'm like, there's no tire tracks. And that's when I messaged
You
Todd.
messaged me, yeah.
Yep. And I was like, hey, are they off course? And it was good to know, though, that they were behind us.
Yeah, there was a good chuckle when I pulled it up to look at the map, and I'm like, they're not off course or ahead of you; they're behind you.
Yep. Yep.
Nicole's taking it easy, so they were behind us. That was, yeah.
And guarantee you, like, their whole part of wanting to bomb the hill was also that the two of them were, like, chit-chatting. Like, first of all, the rest of us are sucking wind, you know? And
Yeah.
they're like, and I was like, okay. Like, they were probably doing that going downhill, and their GPS were probably beeping at them.
Sure.
But, of course, they're not paying attention.
They were just ripping.
Well, I think it
Yes.
beeped, and then it also said drink water. So they saw the drink water, not the turn here.
This probably won't surprise you, but when there are sharp turns, left or right, mid
Generally downhill.
descent,
Yep.
those are intentional.
Yes.
And, and I wasn't sure going into this is like, do we tell the people this or do we let them suffer like we did?
Well, no, they're going to go slow down every hill.
we
that's
can tell them about it because it just builds on the anxiety.
That is
Right,
true
yeah.
because you never know which downhill it's going to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
It could be all of the downhills.
It's every single one.
Every downhill. Larry,
Well, and that's the other.
yeah, go ahead, Larry.
Well, the other thing is you were saying it was well marked and everything, but those same markings are throughout the Forest Service area because all the hunters and what have you. So, you know, if you stop for every one of those, you may not get done.
This is true.
Hey, Larry, Todd had asked you a question about the 1 to 10 FU scale. Can you also do that for the company that you had yesterday?
Well, that doesn't really apply to company.
Well, that depends on your company.
You know, I'd have to give it basically a 0 because everybody just really pulled together and, you know.
This is true.
That's what I was hoping.
As soon as he hesitated, I knew it was going to be like 0. When you are in the company of FU people, you will immediately know, like, yeah, that was a 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is true.
That is true.
Right? Am I right?
And yesterday's group was
Amazing.
Yeah, that's a good group of humans.
Awesome. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Larry, you got any words of wisdom before we let you go? I just wanted to check in and make sure you're coherent.
Well, I'm as coherent as I ever am, but
There was no head trauma. You don't have any concussion symptoms.
His helmet was completely covered in mud.
Well, that's why I'm asking because I did see mud all over his head.
no, actually, I didn't realize how hard I had hit, but when I last night looked at the head wrap, the only reason that I didn't have mud running through my hair and probably down my neck is because the head wrap stopped it all. But no,
it was all down
I'm in
his
good.
beard, though, on the side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going for Wild Man yesterday. But what was the question now?
Words of wisdom. Words of wisdom.
Go out and just have fun. I mean, you know, we got a little bit into people were pushing a little harder and, you know, don't wait for me and that type of stuff. You know, whoever's in the group, you're out there having fun. It's going to come back. When you get your deepest, darkest, have a seat, have a drink, and give it 15 minutes, and then bust ass for the rest of it. It's a great course. That course is fantastic.
Yes.
It is.
That's a good point. Before we let Larry go, I'll build off what he said because when you get a group, especially 9 people,
Oh, yeah.
that's a huge group.
Yes.
And you're going to have people who are going a range of paces, right? And the opportunity to get spread out and separated, anytime we have big groups out there, it tends to happen. I mean, look at what happened with them going off course, having to come back. How would you guys manage that effectively? I mean, it seems like the company was great. You know, the energy was great. I know that sometimes groups can start to sort of disintegrate because somebody's being, you know, left behind in air quotes
Yeah.
because their pace is a little bit different. They start to feel self-conscious, anxious. You know, this has come up in other groups. So how'd you guys manage that and keep it positive and keep the group together?
I would say we if there was a turn that looked like someone might miss it, we paused there.
Yep.
So we didn't go any further than what was actually a trail. So we were
Gotcha.
stopping to gather ourselves back up again. And then just naturally, we kind of rotated throughout the group, front and back, and just kind of rotated through.
We being who? You and Brenton?
No,
or just everybody?
Just everybody
Yeah.
Okay.
kind of rotated. Sometimes we were more towards the front, sometimes more towards the back, and just kind of ebbed and flowed with the group to try to keep at least 2 people-ish together.
Yeah. So you were very intentional.
But not like planfully intentional. I think
Yeah.
it's just the group that we were with did a great job of rotating through.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of positive reinforcement out there for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of funny jokes, and Nicole might have some interesting videos of me trying to make animal sounds in the woods to make people laugh. So keeping people laughing is a key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is usually I'm at the back, and I was doing well yesterday. I was having fun, but I've been back there at the back and struggling, and that's what I do is I just go back and ride, and we talk, and how you feeling, and have you tried this, have you tried that, and just keeping it up. And like you say, somebody gets, oh, just leave me, I'm holding you up and all that type of stuff. No, we started together. We're going to end together. And, they want you to go ahead because they're probably feeling bad for themselves, which, that happens. But having somebody there, getting back to a little bit of the community, we are community. So, at times you're going to be slower. Other people are going to be faster. You're going to feel better or worse. And it worked out because they ended up at the end being real positive. They were clicking along pretty good. And I think they learned a lot too.
Yeah.
And then everyone actually stopped about 0.1 from the finish line, and waited for everybody to catch up. So we all actually finished together.
Yeah. That's awesome. Larry, you had 9 people out there. That's about the same size as a group of kids you'd work with at bike club. You see any corollary between adult bike club, Crusher EX, and the kids program?
Language is different.
I hope it is. Meaning, I hope that the Crusher language doesn't transfer over to bike club.
No. I think it does. Within the group, it's so diverse. There's a couple of NICA coaches in there as well as so there was a lot of positivity, encouragement. I don't think it's all sort of blurring together, but we've done a couple of things over the last few days and trying to session things. Yesterday wasn't sessioning, but
I mean, we talked about sessioning the Trail of No Return. Like, hey, maybe we could do that better.
Yeah, let's go back down to push back up.
But for some reason, people didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
How many new people were on the first time EXers?
We had 2 first-time EXers, I think.
Yeah. Kaylee was first time EXer?
And Glenn.
No, she's done it before, I think. I think it
so
was just
Glenn, well, and
There's
Val.
another one.
Oh, no, Valerie's done it.
Valor's done it.
Yeah. I swear there was 2, and now I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked on paper like a fairly experienced group that was out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say it was Glenn.
Glenn has done a mass start with us last year, but this was his first EX.
Yeah.
He enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Did he have anything? Did he say anything like comparatively between EX and MS? Because he's done MS, which typically a mass start course is different, from EX.
He and I did talk about that because last year doing the MS, that was a grind, right? Because we know we wanted to finish something. We knew that with the EX yesterday, we could finish within time unless there was something, something went wrong, right?
Right.
And so that was the better part of being able to kind of sit back. But he, the first part of 40 beers gets you a little like, oh, this is great.
Right.
Yeah, there's some gravel.
Then all
it lulls you into a false sense of confidence.
Yes. And he's like, oh, this is good. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, just wait, it's coming. And so we have never done Trail of No Return. So the EXs we've never done it. So that was an experience for us too.
Yeah.
I told Larry that I was excited to ride the Trail of No Return, and he laughed immensely at me. I think I made it 4 feet.
Yeah. And so it was interesting talking with Glenn, doing comparing the two. But last year doing the 175 was just a grind. Getting to the finish line. Whereas in this, we knew we had time. So it was more about the experience and being with the people and being out there and enjoying the experience.
A lot more weeds and mud.
Yes.
And less sand.
And there is a video of Glenn going up the Trail of No Return. If you've ever seen Eeyore going up a hill, this is the video.
Oh yeah.
The look on his face and his movements, it's just like there's a lot of WTF.
And that was not the top.
There is no hill like Trail of No Return on any MS route we've done previously.
No.
Well, maybe until this year up in the Keweenaw.
I
was going to say, you're going to have to change that up.
Yeah, I know.
All right, Larry, we'll let you go so we don't hang you on the phone here. Thanks for picking up. I wasn't sure if you were going to or not.
Well, I had just stepped out and was coming back when it went off, and I'm going, and I saw Todd, and I went, okay, what I do now?
Have fun in the Keweenaw.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm with these two up there, and hopefully, well, if nothing else, I'll have somebody that can change the bandage on my elbow, since I can't do it just by myself.
Caitlin, that's all yours.
So,
Awesome.
okay, we'll let you guys go.
All right, Larry.
Thanks for the call. It was fantastic.
All right, brother. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Take care.
Yep. Bye. Well, there you go. He's alive and well.
He's alive and well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why don't you guys take it from the top? I mean, talk about the day. You know, we've kind of dug into it a little bit, but what'd you think?
I mean, my text says it all. When what you said, it's the best of the worst. It was definitely the best of the worst. All the stuffs, the sketchy downhills, which I kept telling people was just up ahead because I thought I recognized it, and then like 5 hours later, we finally got to the sketchy downhill. No, it was a beautiful route of mud and muck and weeds and turns that go into what looks like not a trail.
He said start at the top. So let's go with the first obstacle.
Can I ask before I forget that? Did you see anybody?
Oh, at the Quartz Falls when we filled our water bottles.
Yeah. Okay.
We saw some
but otherwise not
pillows.
Much traffic?
There was
one
or two cars that were out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
No logging?
No, there was
one equipment parked on the side.
Okay.
Other than that, there was
nothing active. No logging trucks.
No logging trucks.
Okay. All right.
Continue. I mean, I would imagine stuff is pretty soft out there for them to try to get in there and remove anything.
Well, they are out there right now.
Okay.
They're active. We have made every attempt to route as much around it as possible. Some of it's impossible to not go near, but I think on your route, the majority of it was off.
Yeah. So we did not see, there were no big trucks. I mean, they were all the personal vehicles, what we saw out there.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'd say the first obstacle, and this is what everyone needs to be prepared for, is you park your vehicle, and you open your door, and you are going, where the hell did all of these mosquitoes come from?
Yeah. And
it is literally, I mean, it's clouds, and everyone's screaming, put on your spray, whatever it was. I know we can't go a brand, but we found that permethrin.
Yeah.
That stuff, as soon as we applied it, we were good. Now, is it healthy for us? Who knows? But it worked.
It's not.
Yeah. Those mosquitoes were intense.
Yeah. Any flies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The later in the day,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
It got
I tried to
pretty
take a video of them attacking Glenn, but you can't see the horde of flies that are around his head.
Yep.
They are out in full force.
That'll taper, as we get into August.
But you don't want it to taper. That's
Well, we
part of
don't
the
want it
experience.
to, but
Yeah.
Well, if you keep on getting the rains, it could keep on going.
I've heard that it's pretty intense out there right now.
Yes.
Yes. And they can go more than 15 miles an hour. We were going down a gravel road. I looked down to see how fast we were as the flies were next to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fast little guys.
Yeah. So mosquitoes and flies, if you're new to the EX courses or doing the crusher up here, have a plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the mosquitoes and the flies have a plan. And
They
it
are
is to
out.
bite your ass.
Correct.
Yes.
They literally
Yes.
bit. There's a video of me going down a sketchy hill, and I veer off to the side, and Brenton says, "What happened?" And it was a fly attacked me.
Well, she squealed. I thought something happened to her bike, and she's like, "No, fly bit me." I'm like, okay. All right. I guess that wasn't quite what I was looking for.
How many times have you done the EX?
3,
3 times.
And how many times have you done an MS route?
1.
Just once.
So last year.
Last year. We went right to the 175.
How would you describe the difference between mass start courses and EX courses to somebody who is coming into this unknown?
Well, I don't know what's ahead of people.
Let's not. This is
So-
not considering the Keweenaw. I'm talking about the past 3 years in the
Okay.
Munising.
So I would say that you look at what we experienced last year, and we went up and we rode the areas. We
You did some recon for us.
did some recon, which was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Which I actually think our recon saved a couple MSers asses last year, because I remember there was a turn where it doesn't look like you should be on that road. And we went, when we did some recon, we're like, okay, we're going down here. And when we did the actual MS, there was a large group of them coming back at us, and they're like, "Oh, you guys are going the wrong way." And like, no, you're going the wrong way. So you should turn your asses around and go the other way. But I would say if you compare what we did yesterday in an EX, you're more likely to stay dry.
In which
On
one?
an MS.
And the MS.
Yeah.
So, there's on the EX, you're going to have a lot more muck, a lot more crazy downhills, even though there are on the MS, there are still some, especially for riding an actual gravel bike, for that comparison. We were riding mountain bikes yesterday.
Yep.
So I would say that there's a lot more up and down, whereas with the MS, you're able to get some stretches where you can get some speed going, make up some time, and then, save yourself for some of the technical areas on the MS. Whereas in
I would
EX.
say the EX is just a lot shittier. It's not.
I agree with that statement.
It's not. I think we were on gravel roads for, I don't know, 15% of yesterday,
Yeah.
and the rest was what the fuck is this type
Right.
of trail?
Yeah.
that goes into
watch your
the
language, Caitlin.
Well, I can say you can't.
She can
say
say.
it. Yeah,
I mean,
can say
swearing is encouraged and allowed. It's just that you're
it.
gonna,
You may not be able to,
Right,
but
maybe not you.
but I can. Yeah.
I mean, we're in the UP. It's not like we're in Wisconsin where I work. So does that mean we're okay? I don't know.
Oh no, the internet is. I don't know if you know, but
it's in Wisconsin.
worldwide.
It is.
Shoot.
So EX has got more climbing,
Just more.
more vertical, more technical.
Yeah, like technical / just not something a gravel bike. I would not take a gravel bike on an EX ever.
And you have a better chance of hurting yourself on EX if you're not.
I would
you're not
agree with
being
that.
smart.
That would be a fair statement.
Yes,
Yep.
rocks jump out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And puddles, lots of puddles. Beaver Dam. Oh, I forgot about the Beaver Dam. Is my favorite beaver dam ever.
Are you talking about the one
on-
after the cut, after the rock cut?
Yeah.
Yeah. You
That-
climb up to it.
That thing is the most beautiful place on the Crusher besides the rock cut.
I do hate the fact that Beaver Dam creates quite the mess after
The
that
puddles,
section.
though, yes. Frog-infested puddles is a staple of the EX.
Yep.
I don't think I encountered a frog-infested puddle on the MS.
As you're doing an EX and you go through that mud and you're looking at it going, oh, gross, it smells bad.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a lot of things that are swimming there. I don't know what's in there. When you get your feet wet and muddy and your feet start to itch, that's the parasites, people. They're starting to dig into your skin, starting to eat away at your flesh.
Don't say that. I made Haley ride through a puddle. I thought the left side was going to be better.
It wasn't.
It was not. It was not.
The that beaver dam you're talking about. Mm-hmm. You remember us stopping, checking that beaver dam out? Do you know which one she's talking about? You climb out of the rock cut, and then you go through some shitty mud and puddles, and there's like a tank trap that they had dug out to try to keep side by sides from going through there. I think they're going through there now from pictures I've seen.
I didn't. When with us, I didn't see him going through there.
Yeah.
I can tell you don't remember.
I don't.
I have photos.
Yeah, we'll
Jog
show
your
if
memory.
when you see a picture, I think it'll jog your memory, but I remember one time specifically when I did the 100 alone, the EX, this is a couple of years ago. I stopped at that beaver dam. Mm-hmm. And it's like for a brief moment, I had this realization, like, I am completely alone. Mm-hmm. Could hear the wind through the trees. You could tell nobody had been through there. The most freeing feeling you can ever have.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
It's so fucking phenomenal out there.
Mm-hmm. And actually, that if you talk about, you're asking about comparing the MS to the EX, like that's a big part of it. There was, and I'm going to be honest, like we had a group of 9 people. My job, I am socially exhausted on a daily basis.
Right.
And so there were moments when I just pedaled ahead of people. Yeah. Because I wanted to, I wasn't trying to like speed people up or anything. I just wanted to hear the wind in the trees. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite birds, I love listening to the wood thrush calling in the woods. I'm getting goosebumps right now because I love hearing that in the woods.
Yeah.
And when you have 9 people, you have a horde of people going through the woods.
Yeah.
Mainly me. I am quite loud.
Yeah. Lots of talking, I'm sure.
Yes. And so it's one of those things where, it's great having a large group of people, but it's also like I wanted to separate myself so I could connect with that piece of it because it's really important. I think it re-energizes you, and we don't get that opportunity a lot unless we come up here. Mm-hmm. And so 9 people is a lot, but I just need that little separation.
Yep. I get it.
Yep.
I get it 100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's talk, Caitlin. Talk through your bike setup. What were you riding? What's your bike?
Oh boy. I have a Top Fuel that I was riding.
So full suspension?
Full squish.
Yep. Mountain bike. Do you have racks on it anywhere?
We did for this to carry more. We did the Old Man Mountain front axle where you can put so we did panniers on either side.
On the front?
On the front.
Okay.
Tom had a setup on the back, which I think also would have been nice. We did just the front. I have a small frame, so nothing really fits in there. I have a double water bottle, wolf tooth double water bottle because
the V.
That one. So for a small frame, I can barely fit a water bottle in my frame as it is.
Right.
So I almost had to go to the double just to be able to fit a water bottle.
That's on your down tube, right? Mm-hmm. And then the bottles are on each side of the down tube.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm her bike mechanic.
So if I mess up anything, he'll correct.
So those people out there that are looking at a small frame and you're looking to hold more water, that wolf tooth double barrel when you can slide off to the side actually allows it to clear the frame. So if people are looking for a taller bottle and to clear the frame, it's a great addition to a bike.
Yeah, and I do the tall water bottle on both sides.
How much weight did you have on the rack, those panniers? I'm actually kind of curious because typically I run a rack in Old Man Mountain off the back of my bike, and I put the weight back there instead of having it up on the handlebars. How much weight was up there? If you were to guess.
Well, I ended up, since we looked at the course and saw we had a water resupply, once we checked with Larry and he confirmed that quartz waterfall place had good water, I was going to carry a half a liter in each side. Ended up not doing that since we had a pretty good water resupply spot, and I was carrying. So I had a backpack, which was a liter and a half, and then a liter on the front. So I was already having 2.5 on my body, and then the 2 water bottles on either side. Okay. So I packed more of my food and bike repair stuff in those 2 bags. So they ended up not being too heavy. His was much heavier because he had a liter in each side.
Got it.
But it worked fine.
I sweat like a mother trucker. Mm-hmm. I can't. And I made a last minute decision the night before. I did not want to carry a backpack.
Yeah.
I did not want to do that.
Keep it off your back.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so I ended up with a liter soft pack in either side. But then I was also carrying the Grail for us to refill. And that actually like helped a couple people in our group. Highly recommend if it's a hot day. If you have a filter like a Grail, it works quick, efficient. I would say if we're going with weight, I would say that we're carrying extra 10 pounds on the front.
On the front, that's
Yeah.
not bad. I want to add on the filter, the water filter. Anybody, especially, well, I'm going to say for both this year, MS and EX, absolutely should have a filter because you can end up in a spot you don't know what might happen or go wrong. That's going to put you in a spot where you are now out of water, and you got to have a way to filter it.
And that was so. What happened yesterday is it was so cool in the morning. I was not drinking a lot of water, and I wasn't really sweating. I was actually in a really good place.
Yeah.
And when we stopped, and Keelan's like, "Oh, you should
I
refill."
made them fill their water bottle.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where I'm glad because as soon as that temperature started to rise, and we had some of that climbing in the second half.
Also, I don't know if you know, but Todd sometimes makes things harder at
the end.
So you go slower.
I mean,
at the end.
I was told that once we hit the 20-mile mark, that it was all downhill.
All downhill, yeah.
So
I don't know who told you that.
It says the one who doesn't look at the map before we go. Yes.
You're on a mountain bike too, right?
yeah, I'm running the exact same bike.
Okay.
Once one of us has something, the other one has to have it. So
It also makes it easier for maintaining if
Sure
you
does.
have the same and
What was your gearing? How you set up gearing? What do you got going on?
stock.
yeah,
But
Okay.
I really want an oval chainring after.
What was it? What
Very.
did it come stocked with?
it's a 1x12.
Okay, so it is.
Yeah. So I mean, what we found is the fewer moving parts, the better.
Yeah.
That's why we had when we had our road bikes and we went to checkpoints for gravel bikes for last year.
Yeah.
I love the 1x. It just keeps everything clean. Maybe you lose some of the top end speed stuff, but we're not going for any land speed records, so it's okay.
Your front ring, stock?
Stock.
So 30, 28,
I think it's a
30?
I think it's a 30. I'm not.
Do you think it'd be a 30 stock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could see through all the muck and mud on them out on a truck right now,
I brought,
check
I
it out.
brought you a flower. It's in my
stuck in her front chain.
Did you, so the gearing, you got a 30 up front, you're running 1x12. Caitlin, did you have to walk anything besides trail and no return, which everybody walks?
I was actually really proud. I climbed a whole bunch of stuff yesterday. The only time I did not make it up, besides trail no return, I slipped out on a loose,
Sure.
gigantic rock thing when I was climbing, and that pushed me off to the side.
Yeah. So you didn't have any issues climbing?
I did not.
The gearing was good.
The gearing was, I mean, I dropped it into the bottom one and sang a song to get me to the top.
Yeah.
Glenn may not have enjoyed the song, but
Your gearing was good?
Yep, gearing is good. I
Work for
actually, I have a problem with on a steeper uphill with the loose rock. I can't get into that the tallest gear because I got a diesel motor and I end up like torquing it too much, and I always pop the front wheel. So that's usually my problem.
Yeah.
But so I usually, but gearing was good though. It's a great setup. Works for us in a lot of different ways, and we are running. Great test yesterday for anyone out there. We're running the SRAM AXS. Smooth shifting, even when it was caked with a bunch of stuff. That was something that I'm sure people are like, I don't know if this is going to work or not because of electronics. It worked great.
my battery went through a lot of mud yesterday and still shifted fine. It was good.
And our Tom, who was doing it, he's an engineer and he's very technical. He has to like know every little thing.
Yeah.
So he had to test his batteries after we got done, like how much
did
was
he?
left. Yes, he did.
And what was the percent?
It was like he used 7%.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
those batteries
yeah.
lasted the entire MS.
How many hours?
8.5.
8.5.
Okay.
And like moving time. Do you remember what we looked at for moving time?
No.
I think it was obviously like stoppage time is especially other 906 events, right? You think about Margie, MS stuff. Stoppage time is your enemy, and but when you do an EX, that's the nice thing about an EX. If you're doing like a 40, is stoppage time is time to recuperate and socialize. So
Moving time 6:10 for me.
What tires did you guys run?
Truck tires.
we are Maxxis minions.
Heavy,
Meaty.
beefy.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to change him out. Tom was running a lighter tire because he thought, okay, faster rolling for an EX. He was having some slippage issues going up hills,
Yeah.
and obviously we did not. they're great tires. We ran them in Margie last year because it's just peace of mind mentally too, with the sidewall protection. And so
I'm not always the one to pick the best line, so I like having a little extra to just bomb rocks without having to really worry about them slashing my tires.
You're running them tubeless?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Running tubeless. We're running PSI. I think I was running 26 and 25 just because that's where I was trying to pick up my speed yesterday.
Yeah. Was Caitlin running?
She was running.
I picked 25, I think.
Yeah, it was 25 and 24. So.
Did you have lights?
I have a different seat as well on that bike, which I absolutely love.
What's the seat?
Shit. Specialized. The 3D printed one with holes in it that gets filled with mud, but then the mud falls through the holes, so it's fine.
When her bike mechanic washes it.
When? Lights. Did you have any lights front and back? Marker lights? Tail lights?
Yes, I lost a light at Polaroll EX. I think in the parking lot actually. So I just bought a night rider, I think blinky. When I turned it on, I blinded everybody.
Okay.
So that was the back. The other one was a Trek.
Yeah, Bontrager.
Or a Bontrager flasher.
So you had one front and back?
And then on the front, we had the flat. I actually don't know what brand that one is.
Yeah, but
it
goes
goes
really nice.
under the Garmin.
Yeah, so
and
it
it's
actually
a
goes to your Garmin mount, and then your Garmin can go on top
180.
of it, so you don't have to have two separate things.
Is it a Garmin product?
It is not.
No.
Okay.
I think they were Amazon's when you found it.
Yeah, I can't remember what the brand is, but it's spread out so that you can see it from the sides as well, not just the front.
Yeah, I got it. Lights, I'll just throw out there for anybody listening to this that they should have some marker lights front and rear. It's inevitable at some point, depending on what route you're doing, you're likely to run into other traffic, whether it's just somebody out driving their truck to camp, or a side-by-side, or a group of side-by-sides, or a logging truck.
Yep.
Whoever it might be.
Yeah, I mean,
Light yourself up.
Safety out there.
Yep.
You want to be seen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 100%. There is a lot going on out there. You won't see people a lot most of the time, but there's people out there.
And I would recommend putting on flasher. I think that just for safety.
For attention.
I think some people just run it on and they think it's visible, but I think that flash.
The pulse is better.
Definitely.
I mean, you want to make it through the whole crusher. You don't want that to be the reason you don't finish. So.
Yeah. I would definitely also suggest, rules of the road apply, which means stay to the right-hand side of the road. Don't go in the middle. Be particularly cautious coming around corners because I've seen it. This is nothing against anybody on a four-wheeler or a quad, but sometimes they're out there like we are. They're having a good time, and they hit a corner fast. They're ripping. They're thinking they're all alone. You don't want to be the biker in the middle of their route if they're coming through on the wrong side of the road.
Especially with the advancements in the side-by-sides. I mean, you can really fly in those things because they have such amazing suspension. It's not like our 1990s Honda four-wheeler where you can't
Where
quite
you can
get
hear
that
it coming
speed.
from a mile away.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. Is you don't hear the side-by-sides or the four-wheelers until they're on top of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, if a logging truck is coming at you, you're going to hear that coming a ways away. But this other stuff, you may see it before you hear it. So,
especially if you're going downhill, the wind is very noisy in the ears. And
absolutely. Yeah. I would encourage people to not have, I'm sure you guys didn't because you're in a group, but let's say you're alone out there. I would not have earbuds or anything in your ears. You should be listening at all times, connected to what's going on around you.
Yeah, we do. That was something that I transitioned away from a while ago, or we both did, is, especially being on the road. I was really you can't hear things, you don't know what's around you, right?
Absolutely.
And so we actually use those little speakers just if you need a little bit of music, a little something.
I saw them clipped on you.
Yeah.
I never ended up turning mine on yesterday because we were having so
We
much
had
fun.
so much fun without it. We just
But I have it
sometimes
for
you
if
need
you
for a
get
little
to
extra,
a dark place. Yeah, if you get
but
to a dark place.
it was
you
nice
sometimes need
that
it. So-
we all kept each other out of those dark places.
Yeah,
if
it's
some
good.
people got there, then we helped each other out.
When you got the right group put together, it's great.
Yeah, I want to say something about the group because that group would not have happened without 906.
This is true.
This is, Tom was with us on our very first crusher. And have to make a plug for Dana Johnson. She was the one that got us. She was not with us yesterday, but she's the one that first did like, hey, have you heard of this crusher thing? This 906?
We should take these.
So
gravel
she's
bikes.
how you heard about it?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to ask that, so thanks for bringing that up. I was curious how you first got plugged in.
So it was she's into biking, doing all these things. Like she travels all over the place and does lots of biking adventures.
Yeah.
And she was talking to us, and she's like, "Hey, have you heard of this Crusher 906 thing? It's a gravel ride.
We should sign up.
We should do this."
It's an enhanced gravel ride.
Well, and then the
So-
more we looked into it, yes, we learned.
Once we started digging, now that very first year, we were not prepared. I mean, we were prepared, but we were not prepared.
We carried
So
all
you
of the
thought
stuff.
you thought you were prepared?
Thought.
It was I think it was more just our activity level was not as much back then.
which is not being prepared.
Okay. Well,
So I mean, it was.
There you go.
We did it,
Okay.
but I'll tell you what. When
was
we
a
got
rough
to
finish,
was it
rough
Mosquito
finish.
Gulch, and I was like, "What the is this?" Well, like, oh my god! Like,
I'm too short.
I'm like, if you're thinking gravel, and if you take gravel and you turn it into boulders, like that was like, I was mind blown.
Yeah.
And then when we got to mile 40 and still had
More.
16 miles left,
Right. On a 40-mile route.
Yes, we
Yeah.
took a picture and
Yes.
said we're done in the middle of nowhere.
And I am going to tell you that the one of my worst nightmares still is. One of my worst nightmares is wet, muddy feet. I do not like it. And that first crusher, when we literally within the first 2 miles,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm
There
going
was
to
a
hate
big
this.
puddle.
And I've gotten over it. It's just like it's going to happen. It's
Yeah,
gonna
crushers, your feet are going to be wet.
Yes.
Probably
So-
all day.
He thought the
Yes.
first crusher, he thought he was going to stop before the water crossings,
Yep.
take off his shoes, and put on Crocs.
I had my
Get
Crocs
across.
with me. I
They're
was like, oh,
tied
I'm
to
gonna
the
do
back
this.
of his backpack.
Yep. We were actually, when you say talk about being prepared, we were, I would say, overly prepared with the amount of stuff we were carrying. That's the other
So
thing.
much
We had so much, and we were carrying all this extra weight. And we actually rode our first crusher on fat bikes.
Hard
So
to
Farleys.
Yeah.
And it was, that was an adventure, especially when you get to Yellow Dog Crossing. And what happens with fat bikes, Galen?
They float. So when I was trying to cross, I decided to ride it, and then my front tire just.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Yeah, it just drifts with the current.
So going back to that first year crusher, Dana got us into it. It was awesome. We were hella bonked when we got done though. I mean, it was like we were out. Dana fell asleep at dinner, like at a restaurant. So that's when we decided, like, okay, we did this. We're great. And then I don't even know how was it pole roll next?
Yeah, I guess because we did. We ended up doing polar roll,
Yep.
and then
MS-30.
and then we decided to also sign up for Margie
Yeah.
after the EX. Yeah.
Go back so we don't lose it. You said that the group was brought together by 906.
Yeah,
So,
so
my assumption
Tom.
is you're talking about you got people from all over the place that
So-
would not have been connected.
Correct.
Keelan, you want to run through that?
Well, me and names. We'll just
true.
we might list states. So Tom, Glenn, Brenton, and I are from the Milwaukee area.
Okay.
We know Glenn due to training for 906 events via Tom. So we wouldn't have met Glenn had it not been for mountain biking. We are relatively new to mountain biking, the two of us. And Tom really has gotten us into, we started out with the fat tires and snow, and then got into mountain biking after that. So then our group that came together was a combination of Margie Camp friends and then Margie Camp friends of friends and other 906. So a lot of people did not know each other yesterday. We had people from Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the UP, as if that's another state, apparently.
Yeah. It's more like a small
my-
country.
Yeah.
In my list. So yeah, we just had a lot of people from all over that would not be friends or, go out into the woods to do hard things with each other had it not been for 906.
Were you familiar with, so some of these people maybe you didn't know or hadn't met before, were you familiar with them via the groups at all? Had you seen the name, heard the name?
Two of them were brand new to me personally. So 2 of them I did not know before going in, but they were friends with people that I knew, and I trusted those friends that if they're friends of that person, they've got to be good stuff.
Yep.
So that's yeah.
It's really cool that the community that comes together around this, and the friends that we've made through this. I mean, I think about like Larry. We didn't know Larry. We saw him on Facebook originally, like all this stuff. And,
he is Facebook famous, apparently.
Right.
Whenever
So
we
Facebook
introduce
famous.
him, oh, Larry from Facebook.
He has sort of a memorable face. Sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably pick him out in a crowd, unless it's like Christmas time at a mall. I mean, that may be more difficult.
Mini Santa.
But what it comes down to is, now we're going up to Copper Harbor and we're going to ride with Larry. Like he's coming up, and it's making these connections. We have our people back home that we ride with as well, but which is really Tom and Glenn. But we've expanded and we've met these people, and it's just been awesome. Like when we get together and we see them, I think about when we did that pain in the ass polar roll this last year. We probably might have gone hashtag quitters if it hadn't been for Nicole and Chad when we got to one of the stops, and they talked to us. They're like, "No, you guys gotta get it back out there and just keep going." Like
Chad let all the air out of my tires, and then Nicole pushed me off and said, "Go,
keep going."
And then she told me to raise my seat because I think I hadn't raised my seat for the last 9 miles. Yeah.
Do you guys participate in the Facebook groups that are associated with the events?
Yeah.
Okay. All 3 of them?
What do you mean by participate?
Well, just,
are you... I stalk them.
Yeah. Are you connected to them? Do you see what's going on in them?
Yeah.
Because I do think that that's unique for events where each event has a private Facebook group.
Yep.
And, each one will ebb and flow with activity based on where we are in the calendar year. But it's almost like each one connects the dots. So as you move through the Crusher group, you just transition to the Margie group.
Yep.
And then that eventually transfers over to the Polaroid group. So there's familiarity amongst the community.
Yep.
Not always in person, but sometimes just digitally through social media. There's a connection there.
Yep.
Kind of it keeps you connected.
It also makes it confusing sometimes. We're like, I saw this post. I want to go back to it. And I'm like, dang it. Which page was that on?
Dude, that's the bane of my existence.
I can imagine.
Sometimes trying to figure out where a comment was.
Yep.
Where I'm like, I got to go back and answer that comment. And it's like, where?
Which
one of
where?
the 12 pages?
Because there's also the Crusher page, and then there's the Crusher talk, and then there's Margie talk. I mean, it's just like...
Yeah, because there's 3 primary public-facing event pages. Each one has an associated private Facebook group.
Yep.
So it can get pretty hard just to figure out where the hell the comments are coming from sometimes.
Yes. And then there's the transfer page as well.
Yeah, right. Transfer page for Margie, because that's a thing.
Big one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've covered, let's see, we talked bikes. We talked gear. Is there anything that you guys had out there that didn't work gear-wise? Anything that you went and you used this, you used that, and you're like, I wouldn't do that again?
I mean, there was the water filter at the end that didn't work, but I don't know what it was. Somebody else had a water filter.
Gotcha.
I would say I'd have to go back to our first Crusher to just enlighten some people.
Okay.
I had this massive backpack on carrying stuff, and it was god effing awful. Like, don't do it, people.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, let's say if you're already a sweaty person, it compounds it, and then it's pulling on your shoulders, and it's stressing your neck out, and it's just uncomfortable. And every time you get into a situation where you're going to like a downhill or trying to make a maneuver, and it shifts you. It was a really nice backpack. It's a very nice backpack.
Gigantic. You look like a turtle.
I mean, I had
a turtle with feet on the back because
I had everything you needed except for the energy to fit.
And that feels good, right? When you're packing it.
Yeah.
You're shoving shit in there. You're like, oh yeah, we're gonna be totally ready. And pretty soon it weighs 40 pounds.
Yep.
And then you put it on your back, and you're 5 miles into the road, and you're like, fuck.
Yep.
I would say water filtering is something that we have learned is extremely handy because water is very heavy.
It is heavy.
Yes. And so the filter piece of it, that is, to be honest with you, that's the bane of my existence for Margie is making sure I have enough water because I start sweating so much. And I don't want to stop at every person to like get water because I'm going to need it. And so that's why it's a true balance there. But now, that very first year, like, to be honest with you, if you are able to afford some sort of setup on your forks or on the back, do it, because take the weight off your back
for crusher for sure. Yeah.
Yes. Especially with, the mass start. And again, we'll see what this year brings with the mass.
Yeah.
So
the water piece there's a slippery slope on that, where I would say, because I always have 2 water bottles on each side of my fork. That's where I carry excess. So I've got 2 bottles up on my down tube. And then I have backup water on the fork. And I know that there's enough there for about 3 more water bottles. So I have 5 water bottles in total that I'm carrying. And especially when I'm doing crusher, anytime I would pass water that looks like good water, if I have anything that needs to be topped, I'm topping it.
Yep.
Because you don't know, you can't predict down the road where something's going to go wrong. And now you're going to be in a point where you have no water. You have a filter, but you don't have water that you can filter.
Correct.
So it's like, I'd say especially for somebody who's new, once you're experienced on it, I think you've got more flexibility. But if you're new to crusher, do not go on without ample water.
Yep.
Because, I mean, we had somebody end up out there, I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I think it was 2 years ago. Somebody had to get pulled out of there with heat stroke.
I mean, I can see it.
It was one of the hottest days of the summer. I think it was late in the summer. And things went sideways. Somebody had to get pulled out of there. You don't want to be in that scenario.
I mean, so Caitlin, again, Caitlin is the glue. She's the planner. She puts us stuff together with the course. Not only did she add the checkpoints, she added the water points so that it would come up on our GPS.
Yeah,
this is where water is. So we were able to bypass the first one, but then when we got to Quartz Falls,
there are 2 streams really close together,
and we knew that flowing water, right? We want to have that. And being able to filter it and fill, especially quickly. We've now used our Grail twice. So, but it works. At least I hope it works. My tummy's not too bad today.
Yeah, we're good.
Your first time out, I'm assuming you didn't have the same level of preparation. Did you have your water marked and all that stuff?
So,
no, we had no. But I did write down every turn on a piece of paper because that was going to be helpful when I was in the woods.
Tom had printed off multiple pages of a map and taped it together, so it had the route on the map.
This time or the first time?
The first time. The very first time. And it was literally like taped together, all this stuff.
Was it useful?
Falling. I did not open.
Only if we would have needed it for toilet paper.
I was going to say that or starting a fire.
Oh, that's true. It would have been a fire starter.
Yeah, that was quite the interesting one because when Caitlin and Tom get together for planning things, it's like
we're both engineers.
It's like nerd fest and
spreadsheets,
and it's like, okay, you guys, this is a little extra. I'm going to step away. So, but
that's when he goes and does the bike stuff. Yeah.
So the first year was, part of the weight carrying was the water because we didn't have a filter.
Yeah.
And we didn't think about water crossings and whatnot. And I'll tell you what, that's another way to reduce the weight. Save yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when there's going to be water crossings on your route. I didn't know how much water was going to be at the rock cut because I've only been there once. I didn't know if that stream was always streaming.
Pretty much always is. Every time I've been there.
So we also were grab water from there as well.
Yeah.
But that definitely made a big difference in how much we carried versus 2 years ago when we did the EX. We still carried, we tie wrapped a 3-liter bottle of like a water bladder to his frame because we didn't know what type of water resupply spots there was going to be.
And that really effed up my frame, just an FYI. All that the grit that got in me too.
Yeah.
It was all
tie wrap
grinding
for miles and miles. I'm like,
Yep.
Protective tape is also good on frames.
Yeah, to protect the frame.
Yes, he did that for us.
You guys ride together a lot, right?
Yes.
Do you only ride together? No. Do you ride much separately?
She's got a number of more miles on this year because she's done some other things. She did the reforestation with Tom and Glenn. And what was the other thing you did?
I did the polar roll EX without you.
But there was something else you did.
I don't know. I ride.
We do a lot of our
Around
rides
the house.
together. We'll do a lot of our weekend training rides together.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're out there training. When we do like a 6-hour ride on a Saturday, we'll plan that out and go do something together. During the week is a little bit more chaotic, depending on what my day is at school. And I always tell her like, hey, if you can get your ride in, get your ride in.
Mm-hmm.
I like going out in the morning. Habit, and also no excuses at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way.
Get it out of the way. Yeah.
So there's probably 2 camps when it comes to like riding with your spouse or significant other, or for couples. There's the hell yeah camp, and there's the hell no camp.
Correct.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So you appear to be in the hell yeah camp. I'm just curious because Stacy and I, when she was riding, we didn't really ride together. How do you guys make it work for you? What's the secret?
I don't know what the secret is.
I think to be honest with you, like we're lucky. We're best friends.
Yeah.
We go out and enjoy it, and we like to see ourselves like through this whole experience of getting better at biking, through our training and seeing each other have more and more success with our skills, the amount of distances that we can go. Like I think it's just supporting each other.
Yeah. Do you have similar riding styles and riding goals? Are you out there for similar reasons?
We're out there for similar reasons, yes. And I'm significantly slower than Brenton, although I am working on it. Thank you, Mudslingers, for helping with my endurance by giving me ridiculous workouts.
Should definitely give a shout out to Kristen and Al. Like we would not be where we are today, and so we've asked them with our training regiment to plan a lot of this stuff so that we are together on the weekends.
Yeah.
Because originally that's not how it was. Like they were trying to do different goals for us because they knew we were in different places. But then it's like, well, we want to do these things together on the weekends. And so it's that opportunity together. And so Chris and Al have been a huge part of our fitness. Like we would not be where we are without the plan. Because prior to was it the mass start or 3 years ago, we didn't have a training plan.
Yeah.
Well, we did the Rob Lee, but we did the one you get with Margie.
Yep.
And
so you're given a plan and then you're figuring it out.
Yep.
Right.
And that's fine for me. I like having a plan to follow.
Yeah.
But having the assistance of Kristen and Al holding us accountable to the plan helps Brenton because he knows they're watching.
Yep.
Right.
And then they check in.
Yep. So
It makes total sense.
Yeah.
So shout out to them.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up because I planned on bringing this up. They, Mudslingers is one of only 2 sponsors for Made Up. So I wanted to give them a plug today, which you just did.
Yeah.
So thanks for doing my job for
By
me.
accident. Yeah.
No problem.
But yeah, they are great. And I think that we have Rob and we have Mudslingers, and they offer 2 different
They do. Yeah.
training paths.
Yep.
And they've both worked for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think particularly maybe for somebody brand new coming into this, and they're not in it to win it, they're in it to do it, experience it. I think Mudslingers is a great option.
Oh, they are fantastic.
Not that they can't cover everybody because they do, but they don't. Kristen and Al are very down to earth.
Yes. They are amazing at making a personal connection with you.
Yes.
I got to tell a little story that's tied to like the care that they put in. So you asked earlier, like, do we have similar goals? Right now we have one huge goal in front of us.
Which is?
Fucking Margie.
Okay.
So
You mean finishing?
Finishing.
it.
Sorry.
Yes.
I mean, it was
Finishing
finishing Margie.
I wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, okay.
says the guy who
Remember, this
was
is
not-
on the internet forever.
That is true. Yes. Whoops. So it was emotionally, it was tough to get to JP2
Yeah.
15 minutes after to cut off.
Yeah.
That was us last year. Yeah.
And for them to when we had to drive to the finish line to see the people that are finishing to pick up our bags.
And to say quitter in person.
Yep. Because we weren't going to text it. We're going to like, you know what, I'm going to put that red dot. I'm going to put it next to my name.
Yep.
So it was them at the finish line talking with us, like, you know, like, you guys have worked hard. You can do this. We're going to come back next year. And then it was a phone conversation later on. It just like I was having an emotional time with the fact that we didn't finish.
Yeah.
And so it was, I can't remember if it was a week later, 2 weeks later when I called them and we just, I mean, we talked for like 45 minutes, talked to like, you know, what are we going to do? Like mindset, that kind of stuff. So
Yep. They're great people.
Yep.
When I floated the idea of starting the podcast a year ago, Al was the first guy to jump into my messages, and he's like, if you do it, you know, we want to get on, we want to support it, we want to sponsor it. So shout out to Kristen and Al, Mudslingers Endurance Coaching.
Yep.
If you need a coach, and everybody should have a coach, even coaches should have a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Get
it
one.
is
Talk to him.
It helps tremendously. Just having a plan to not have to think about that additional thing of all the other things that you need to think about.
Yeah.
Having that in front of you to say, I'm lifting today. Here's my lifting plan. And I just do it.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And that was my, like, the number of years that I power lifted in high school. I did all that kind of stuff and blah, blah, blah. And to not have to actually think about the workout and just like, okay, now it's here. This is what I have to do. Got my
I mean,
80
I might
80
move them
deadlifts.
around a lot and slide and adjust where my workout.
When you move it, movement is based on what? Just schedule?
Yeah, just whatever, something might come up and I don't do something on Monday and I slide it to Tuesday and
Yeah.
shift around my rest day.
But it still gets done.
I mean, we
At
don't
the end
have
of the week.
100% compliance to our plan.
Yeah.
Sometimes for me during a school year, it can get to be a long day, especially if I have to supervise after school events and whatnot. And so the way our program right now, at least mine, we have a rest day on Thursday, and I may have abused that rest day and like slide in there. I'm like, oh, I can't get to today. I know they're not 100% behind like us shifting things. We try to keep some of the big stuff consistent. But, I've also done it where I couldn't get to a lift on Tuesday, so I'll try to get in on the morning, and then there's supposed to be like a whatever ride in the afternoon, and like I'll double up sometimes, which I know they also, sorry guys.
They don't jive with that? They would prefer you don't
they
do
would
that?
prefer if we didn't.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's more they have a plan, like a heavy lift on a Friday and a ride on a Saturday.
Yeah.
It's on purpose so that you are riding on tired legs
Yeah.
to kind of simulate
Yep.
what's going to happen at Margie.
Yep. Yep. No, that makes sense. I mean, the plans get laid out sequentially, intentionally for a reason,
And then life.
and then life happens.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that you have to keep in perspective. So if you can move stuff around and still get the majority of it done,
Yep.
I'd say if you got a plan and you're hitting 80% of it, it's better than no plan.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Way better than no plan, which is where a lot of people end up at some point.
Yeah.
I just
So-
want to make sure that Chris and I know I'm 100% successful in my meditation. 100%.
That's part of the
Lie
plan.
number 2 of the
Oh,
plan.
lie number 2.
Isn't playing cribbage on my phone while I'm in the bathroom part of meditation? Come on. Everyone's meditation is different.
Yes.
All right, so back to the course.
Yes.
What was your favorite part of it?
Well, I already talked about the beaver dam.
Yep.
Well, we also saw wolf tracks,
Oh, yeah?
bear tracks.
Single wolf or a pack?
Looked
Do you know?
I don't know
Looked like
my
a single
tracks.
wolf.
I
What's
don't
that?
know.
It looked like a single wolf.
Okay.
It was just
All right.
cruising, and it was pretty fresh because there clearly had been rain the night before.
Yeah.
So it was fresh.
Moose sign?
We think we might have seen a moose print at the beaver dam, actually. I
Okay.
think, but we're not 100% sure.
But bear tracks out there was kind of cool. I've actually I've never seen one that well defined, so it was actually kind of cool to see it. And it wasn't big, so it was probably maybe a smaller sow or something like that. But
What was your favorite part of the ride, or feature in the ride, climb of the ride, or descent?
I to be honest with you, I loved, so that you talk about fitness. I loved being able to climb the whole Mount Arvon, climb the whole damn thing,
Yeah.
get to the top, and then you get that super little sketchy, like downhill on the backside.
Yes.
And then you got that, you just got to keep on going down. And so I love that. Like you, so many times you get this like grueling climb and then you don't get that satisfaction of the descent.
Yeah.
But with that one, because it's so much of an incline and
Right.
you get that nice long, payout at the end. I'd say was probably my favorite part.
And I actually made it to the overlook this year
The overlook.
on Mount Arvon.
On Arvon.
To the west of the mailbox there.
Yeah. So the first year that we went up there, we were so focused on crushering and
Didn't see it.
selfie with the mailbox.
Didn't even know it was there.
Oh.
And I made it to the top, took a picture with the mailbox, emptied out my shoes. You asked about what gear doesn't work on the Crusher. I would not recommend Gore-Tex shoes, which keep water out.
And in.
Also,
Yes.
when you step in a puddle and water goes in, it does not come out.
Yep.
So I dumped my shoes out at the top of Arvon. We did some water exchange. This was the one 2 years ago. And we just headed down the mountain and never looked at the overlook.
Yeah.
So this year I made it a point.
How was the visibility out there looking out towards the Keweenaw? Could you see the Keweenaw?
Oh, it was fantastic
It was
yesterday.
Yeah. It
It was beautiful.
Pretty clear.
very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
is.
it's hit and miss if you can see anything up there.
Yeah,
It was,
smoke
and
Yeah.
it was like, there was just a lightest bit of haze, but it was a beautiful view up there yesterday. I mean, it was not the weather that Todd probably wanted for us yesterday, but it was great. So
No, it's okay. I'm saving the bullshit for the mass start.
Lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
can we not save it for Margie? Because we already got plenty of other hurdles to get over.
What do you have any advice that you'd give to somebody who's new to this EX thing? If they're heading out, this year for their first time, EX40, EX100, EX225, whatever they're planning to do? From a perspective of somebody now, you've done it 3 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is your third?
This was our third EX. Yeah.
You can reflect on what you've learned. What would you tell somebody who's walking into this brand new?
Read the guide. Required gear is definitely good to have on you because you never know what might happen, especially the bike related things.
When you say read the guide, you're talking about the field manual.
Yes, the field manual.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the field manual it's on the website. You download it from the website crushergravel.com.
Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome.
It's live now.
It's there.
Okay. So read through that. The Facebook page definitely is a good place to get information. Put the checkpoints into your Garmin. I sometimes put a checkpoint before the checkpoint.
Yep.
So like a warning checkpoint coming up type activity.
Makes sense.
Know how to use your Garmin and read it so that when you don't stay on course, you know how to get back to course. For example, turn off auto reroute.
Yeah.
Because that
has screwed some people majorly.
Yes. We experienced that, luckily not on the Crusher. We were doing a Margie Recon ride, and reroute was on, and we were sent in circles. So definitely turn the reroute off if you're using a Garmin. We talked about water. We didn't talk about nutrition, which Dawn probably is sad about. So nutrition is a huge part.
She's coming in after you.
Okay.
She's going to be here at 10:30.
Sweet. Mm-hmm. Give her another hug before I leave.
We're doing back-to-back today. Double header.
Nice.
Go.
Made up double header, yeah.
So make sure you have enough nutrition. I personally like to vary my nutrition. I don't rely on one thing. I think I did that the first year. I relied too heavily on one type of fuel, and you just kind of get sick of it.
Yep.
So I like having I think somebody called my pack a smorgasbord of randomness. So I like having a lot of different things and I overpack my fuel just in case, because you never know what might happen. So you want to make sure you have enough.
I would assume that you are kind of testing your nutrition while you're training.
Oh, I will not try anything new on a day like Crusher.
Yeah.
Definitely test and taste things before you go out.
Yeah, and to clarify, so Caitlin mentioned the Facebook page. There are two. There is the public Crusher event page where we regularly stream information about the event to the public. And that page is a great place to go to get a better sense of what kind of experience you can expect. Because all of the photography we share is real time, real world. This is not a marketing department putting stuff up to scare you. What we show you is literally what you're going to see. And then the other Facebook entity would be the private group, and that's the Crusher Enhanced Gravel Discussions.
And that one I think has a lot of good information.
Yeah.
Maybe
Sometimes
some also.
You can get lost in stuff though. Sometimes it's a great place to go find things that you need and what people have tested out and what they've worked through.
I think the search feature in the Facebook groups is important, and I don't know how many people know it's there or use it, but you can go in and search in Crusher or Margie or whatever group you're in, like
water,
bike choice, nutrition, whatever it is you have a question on, put it into that search field and see what it pulls up from past discussions. Because the Crusher group I just saw it yesterday or the day before. That group has now been live for 6 years. So there's a lot of content in there.
Yeah.
I would use the stuff that's more current, because the stuff that's dated would be from way back. But yeah, there's a lot of information in these groups for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
What tips you got for somebody new to it?
I would go a mechanical tip. Like, your bike is going to make noises. It's going to grind. It's going to sound awful. Your bike is going to complain. I am someone that doesn't like my bike to make a lot of noises. Yeah. And so I had to get over that. You just have to. It's going to happen, especially on an EX. And you gotta just bear down and be like, you know what? It's good. That constant grit in there is going to happen. Don't worry about stopping and wiping your chain off and all. I actually think you came across us when we were doing the
2 years ago.
You probably didn't know us then. I was trying to.
I was out there with Kelsey.
Yeah.
Yes, you were.
Wow, your memory is impressive.
Yep. So we literally, I was trying to wipe down the chains, and I'm like, it was stupid. Don't worry about it. Just keep going.
Be okay with the grit.
Funny story on that. When he and I last did the long one together, the back end of the ride, you remember the fucking noise my bike was making?
Yeah.
It was obnoxious. And I couldn't figure out where it was coming from, what was causing it, tweaking things, and it would get better and then not better. Terrible. Got to the end, finished, done, get up the next day. I'm like, all right, I got to clean this son of a bitch. I go to the back of the bike, take the skewer out, I pull my back wheel off, and the whole fucking axle just drops on the ground in pieces. So what I'm saying is, had I taken my wheel off,
you would have been finishing.
You would have been.
I was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
interesting.
wild.
So on the noise thing, it's like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, the thing was, it was eviscerated. The whole hub was just destroyed.
So
the only thing keeping it on was the pressure. The bearings were gone.
So we had our checkpoints that we had used for all the recon we did for Mass Start last year, all of our training rides, all that kind of stuff, and then obviously the Mass Start itself. So a lot of miles on those bikes. I took mine in and like to the mechanic that I go to, because I do most of my bike service, but I don't have bearing pressings. I don't have certain things. And I'm like, I'm not going to, like, at some point I'll just have someone else do that. And so I was like, hey, while I have it in here, can you just pull the crank and lube that? Because this guy got some creaking going on. He goes, hey, you know all that training and stuff you did in UP? Some sand got in there, just a little.
Just a little sand.
Just a little. He goes, there's really nothing left of your bottom bracket bearings.
No.
So it was, I mean, he said they're trashed. Yep. So that was, and then I had them replaced, and then Caitlin took a ride this last week. She goes, my gosh, it's so quiet.
Yeah.
So they got their miles, but going back to the saying, like, just let it happen and take care of your bike later. But that's also the front end of things.
I was just going to say,
make sure you are servicing your bike. Yeah. Make sure you got everything taken care of, checking chains, checking brakes, because don't let something that you can easily be, take care of ahead of time. Don't let that ruin your ride.
I would say, this hasn't come up in a while. I'm going to add it now because you just made me think of it. Have extra brake pads.
There's a lot of braking that happens.
There's a lot of braking, and in particular, if you end up out there in the rain, you will burn through sets of brake pads. So they weigh nothing.
Right.
They take up very little space. You should have an extra set of brake pads at all times out there.
That reminds me, we need to pick up brake pads before we leave town today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because Tom had them, but Tom's gone now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have 15 minutes. I want to ask you a question about, because you mentioned you guys are on this journey together, kind of becoming better cyclists. What impact, if any, are the experiences that you're having together on the bike having on your life off the bike?
Every day.
Because, from our organizational perspective, a bike to us is a tool. At the end of the day, what we're trying to do is help make people better, right? Make the community stronger, more resilient, et cetera. So I'm always curious, and I'm not trying to put words in anybody's mouth. I mean, somebody might sit across from me and say, "Hey, I really don't give a shit about anything but, being fast." And if
we are.
And if that's where a person's at, that's okay, right?
Yep.
There's no judgment.
Yep.
I think that's not why most people come toward 906 events.
No.
So I'm just curious if you could articulate it. Like, how has it affected you guys individually, as a couple?
I mean, you asked about riding together, and I think that has definitely been a strengthener to our relationship. Doing the hard things together. That you can endure a lot that you didn't realize you could endure. Is that
mindset something that you embraced prior to coming to the 906 events?
Not nearly as much as now.
And why is it significant?
I think it just helps give you perspective on what you are capable of doing and working through. I never thought that I would ride 100 miles, let alone 206 or whatever it was that we did last year. That was never, biking for 23 and change hours without sleeping, people think you're nuts, which we are. But doing that together and working through anything, I almost bonked. And between Tom and Brenton and Tom's sister, they changed my socks. That's a whole nother story that we didn't get to and probably don't have time for. But all those things.
You think people think you're crazy for doing something 23 hours long through the night? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
My perspective would be, I think that somebody's crazy to not want to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you tell people, like, we did 206 miles, they're like, oh, how long did that take you? Well, we had to get it done in 24 hours.
24, yeah.
And they're like, then you tell them that you biked for 23 and a half hours.
Sleep?
And they're like, oh, when did you sleep? We didn't.
When we got back.
It's the mindset of like pushing yourself. So in my life, it's been really interesting because I've used the 906. I get to use it almost on a daily basis. I work with youth. Being an associate principal, the kids that usually end up in my office, they have some challenges. We work through them. I have all of when we do the posters every year, we get 2 sets of them, one for our house and I have one for my office. And it's a great conversation starter when a kid's in there because they're in there and they're looking at the posters and then they start asking questions. And so,
are you talking about the event posters?
The event posters, yes. Yep. So, they're like, "What is this?" And even staff, like, they'll come in and like, "What is this?" And we talk about it. And so, like, the idea of persevering and pushing through challenges is a big part of my daily work with the kids I get to work with every day. And some of them provide me with more challenges on a frequent basis.
Sure.
But it's the idea of like also knowing that everybody's challenges are different, and understanding that I haven't had the same life experiences that they might be going through, and to help them persevere. And it's like, you can do this. And sometimes it's harder to get through to them than others, but taking the time to show that you care. I mean, that's also what this community is about, right? It's caring about each other. And so it's been a big part of my life. And also like having goals, when it comes to personal and professional. One of the things I did is I took my Margie plate from last year and sits right next to my door. And I went and got a red dot. I put it on there.
Your door at work?
At my door at work.
Yeah.
So every time I walk out of my office, I remind myself what I'm working for personally and professionally.
We also compare a lot of things in life to, well, that's not nearly as bad as what we encountered on X race or, adventure ride.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we're not downgrading other people's experiences. Careful. Remember, this is on the internet.
You have, so I'm not asking you to compare our events to other events, but I would call the way we operate our events is non-traditional. I think most events follow somewhat of a predictable format that has been duplicated, and the intention is also more race focused, more podium driven, more ego driven. If somebody were to be coming over from more traditional events to a 906 adventure team event, how would you describe that experience? Just so they understand what they're getting into, because we go to great lengths to try to communicate.
Yes.
Clearly.
This is an adventure.
Yes. I mean, the field manual, which you referenced, I think is super clear. I spent a lot of time in the last month and a half trying to update the language and make sure that it is expressing the right message and setting people up so that they don't come in here thinking this is a normal event.
Yeah.
But I guess from your perspective, how would you describe it, the experience of a 906 event, and how it's different, or how to come into it, what to be ready for?
I mean, so we try, when people ask us about what we're doing, we don't really call these races.
Yeah.
We call them adventure rides.
Yeah.
It is for us not a race. You're wearing the shirt. It is you versus you out there. But I also think it's a lot of we talked about community earlier, and that's a big thing that you don't get in other races, where you have people cheering on the sidelines. But this is more of people helping other people and encouraging other people versus passing on the left. So it's not as much as like getting to the finish line is about how you get to the finish line and helping people that might be struggling along the way. That has been really a cool part of these different adventures is that.
Yeah, I ditto on that. I would say that you have other events and you hear someone yell, "Elite coming through." And if someone's pushing their bike and you got a stronger rider coming up behind or whatever it might be, and I think people stop and say, "Hey, you good? Is there anything you need?"
Yeah.
Versus
or like a keep going.
Yeah.
One foot.
There's a
in
lot
front of the
more
other.
encouragement in these events. And so I think, you said ego, putting ego aside. I mean, I guess if someone wants to win something, go for it.
Sure.
If that's going to be your thing.
Yeah.
But this is, the idea, we did this early on, is we realized don't put a time on when you need to finish.
Right.
Because that's not the goal. It doesn't matter if we cross that finish line at 24 hours and 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Like I'm, as long as I got all my checkpoint stuff, we're going to get that green dot, right? Like that's all that matters is
The 25-hour mindset.
Is pushing yourself to realize this is something that you've trained for, you've worked for, and it doesn't matter where your placement was. It's if you finish or not.
We've intentionally, I'd say in the beginning, I went to great lengths to not put in these cutoffs because I feel like cutoffs are the first point of failure for most people. I think that if you look at our events, we give people an ample opportunity to be successful. If just finishing is a definition of success for you and you're willing to do something and stick to something for 25 hours to get it done, we're generally willing to give you the time it takes. The only reason that we had to put in those cutoffs for Margie is because we ended up having people take advantage of us not having a cutoff. And being that we are literally in the center of town, we can't do that because during our permitting process, we have to give them a time that we're out.
That makes sense.
So we were forced basically by having it being taken advantage of to put something in place. Originally, I didn't want to have that in any of the events.
Yeah.
The polar roll would be the only other one that we've since said, hey, listen, at dark,
Yeah.
you're done.
Yeah.
If you're not done, you're done. Because there would be a safety concern.
Right.
We had a guy try to continue on one year without lights, and it's like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
But I mean, even with Margie, it's probably a safety. It's a safety thing too, because if you're actually moving the whole time and you're in a not a good place at a certain time, like going from JP2 to the finish line could be a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
So I mean, the whole thing's a dangerous situation.
Yeah. I mean, life is inherently dangerous.
Correct.
Not just mountain biking, but life in general is
Yep.
full of danger. And I think a lot of times what is happening for people and why I think events like ours are really important, probably more important now than they've ever been, is you've got everybody who is trying to act like an authority to us as though they should tell us when we should go outside or not go outside. I mean, you look at what the Weather Channel does, your local media. I mean, I got TV6 now telling me when I should stay in my house. No, I don't need TV6 to tell me what I should do. I'm going to look at the weather and I'm going to make my own independent decision based on what my threshold of risk and safety is.
Well, we
Shout out to
literally
Glenn.
Glenn, this is for you. He's like, oh, I don't know if we should go. It says 99% chance it's going to rain.
Larry and I said,
And it was like
think it's
beautiful
gonna
blue
pass.
skies. Like, you can't listen to that stuff. Let's just go do it.
Yeah, I think the events are introducing people to experiences they have to have, and they're being robbed of them, either through the way we live or through social pressures to conform. We had bike club Monday night. I wasn't there for the whole thing because I was working actually with Dave on crusher routes for the for the mass start, but Mark was there with the crew, and this is an example of something that also happened. I think it was last year. We had weather. We were watching weather the whole afternoon. We made the decision to go forward. We don't ride in the rain.
Okay.
And there's some safety concerns, and then there's also just trail etiquette. I mean, we're putting 200-300 people into the woods. We don't want to blow the trails up.
Yep.
yeah.
They have to make a decision. Mark calls me probably around 6:30, 6:45. He's like, "Hey, we've had something pop up on the radar. It's coming our way, so we have to start making some adjustments. We're adapting on the fly with kids and adults out there." So they did a great job. They communicated, to pull back early. Communicated to parents to show up early. The whole thing went really well. Was executed well. They did a great job adapting on the fly. In the process of doing that, there was a little bit of weather. There was some wind that came in, right? There's some thunder. And it's our youngest age group on Monday, 5 to 8 years old. So some of these kids are out in the field and they can feel the weather, the world's changing around them, right? I've seen it before. This is their first experience maybe of being outside when all of a sudden the front comes in and the wind is blowing and the sky is rumbling, and there's some tears. There's a little bit of fear. I think that you brought some kids into the trailer with you, right?
I did.
And how did you get them to be not afraid of the rumbling sky?
Offered him another snack.
Snacks.
Yeah.
So this guy's offering them candy.
Yeah,
That sounds really sketchy.
There wasn't a van involved. It was a trailer.
Just being able to see like everything inside the trailer, like this is how it all comes together, and there's snacks over there too.
Distractions.
Yeah. And I think it's important too now that they've experienced this.
Oh, yeah.
And they've seen that they've gone through this experience and everything was okay.
Yep.
I don't have to hide inside
Yep.
when maybe there's some raindrops falling. I don't have to be afraid of thunder.
Yep.
Those are important, almost rites of passage that every child should have that are being taken away. Because a lot of times parents are told, like, if there's any chance of bad weather, you should stay inside.
Right. Yeah.
Well, if the kids are never outside and they never experience this, they're going to be scared to death of it as an adult, right?
Yeah.
So-
and that's sort of what you got. That's also part of our training. You
Yes.
think about like this whole thing. We know
never
that
know.
it could be raining on Margie Day. Like it starts this or on mass start day. So part of it was if it's going to be bad weather, let's get out there and do it. I mean, we sent you the pictures last year when we were out doing the crusher and we got the sausage hail.
Yep.
That was probably the most
Dagger.
painful experience I've ever
hail.
had.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
you just got to be out there and do it and just be like, it's going to happen. It's sooner or later, it's going to happen. If you put a number of miles on outside, it's going to happen. And just be prepared. It's okay.
Yeah.
Life has bad weather.
Yeah.
So
It does.
train for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Getting hit in the face with sausage hail, though, does hurt.
Helmets are important
new one.
when things
That's a new one.
fall from
Could
the
you,
sky.
what does sausage hail look like? Like
so-
literally a sausage?
I mean, I have fairly large hands, slightly larger than average. And when it is in your palm of your hand and it's the shape of like you cut a brat in half, and it's like, where did this come from? Like I'm used to hail,
sky.
it's round.
The sky.
Well, I know it came from the sky, Todd. But what I'm saying is like, how did this form? And it was ridiculous. I mean, it was literally like you take a brat, cut it in half. That's what the hail was shaped like. There it is.
yeah, that's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to get hit by that.
No,
And we
no.
did.
It's
And it hurt.
bruises.
Especially since when that happened, we had just gotten to a clear cut area. And we're like, uh-oh.
hiding under a pine tree.
So we went back to like these tiny little trees that were starting to grow up, and this hail was shredding the trees. And we're like, oh, this is going to hurt.
Yeah.
And it did.
Yeah, that looks like it did hurt.
But once you go through that,
Also, if you get stuck in a hailstorm, it's a great time to fuel up. If you're
Yeah.
huddled under a tree,
Yeah, for sure.
Use that opportunity.
Take the break.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, unfortunately, I think we got to run here because we got Don coming in to talk about, I believe we're talking about nutrition for kids next.
oh,
Very nice.
Yeah. I think it,
she knows something about nutrition.
yeah,
Just a little bit,
it
yeah.
came from Margie Camp.
Oh, yes. The kids that asked the most amazing questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
Well, thanks for stopping in. I wanted to catch you before you headed up to the Keweenaw because I thought it'd be cool to get somebody on that literally just did the crusher that opened yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for letting me blow up your travel plans.
Oh,
Oh,
no
this
problem.
is great.
Appreciate
We
that.
wanted to have a little kind of a kickback, easy day, anyways.
Yeah. We'll get this out probably later today, maybe.
We will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't forget to flush your water filter.
He did that this
I did
morning.
that last night. So I put some fresh water in there and squeezed it through. So hopefully it's out in the truck drying now. So
But thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We got to get a picture of that poor bastard sign before you leave.
oh yeah,
Okay.
we will.
All right. We're out. Later.